Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Stuart Goldsmith, and welcome to my infinite sofa. Here on the sofa with me this evening are 12 members of the public. Don't count them. I haven't done the maths. One of them is my godson, but he is technically a member of the public because he's certainly not being paid for his time. Throughout the show, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch via infinitesofa.com on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch, which is live anyway, you can teleport into the show. If you are the biggest donor at infinitesofa.com, by the time we get to 8:30 p.m, you can teleport into the show. We will, you need to donate, and you also need to keep paying attention to your email in case you win. At 8:30, we're going to teleport in the biggest donor. You can join us here on the sofa with my sofa, all of whom now are going to attempt a Mexican wave. Guys, go freestyle. They won't know. Hit it. I mean, to be honest, it looked way better than anything we were practicing beforehand. These are all members of the public who donated to join the show. When you donate at infinitesofa.com, you go in a pool, which is random. And believe you me, it's impossible to fake it, because when I click on admit people in the waiting room at the beginning of this, it jumps about, and it genuinely was randomized. So I couldn't rig it if I tried. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an incredible show for you tonight. We've got Edy Hurst. He's our Chancellor Spot. I've never seen what he does, but it's apparently great. The Delightful Sausage are here. Can we have a round of applause for the Delightful Sausage? I'm just going to ask Neil, can you just give me the reaction there? This is Neil, friend of the show. I just said Delightful Sausage. We'll do that moment again because I love what you did. We've got the Delightful Sausage. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely significant work there from Neil. Also coming up in the show, we have Alice Fraser, ladies and gentlemen. That's deserving of a dab. Alice Fraser, can we dab or something like that? Fantastic. Wow, now I really feel sick. And let's have can you drum roll on your knees, please, people on the sofa? Can we have a drum roll on your knees? That's pretty good. We've got Russell Howard, ladies and gentlemen. Actual Russell Howard. Everything is here to start the show. So these are the members of the public. Hello to everyone in the chat. Hello to Ray in NYC. Hello to the Lockdown Comedy Guide in Berlin. Hello to J.R. Hardacre from Edinburgh. He texted earlier on to say he was stuck with that name. He didn't mean to choose it. The Lockdown Comedy Guide says Alice Fraser's being one of the people dragging me through this bloody lockdown. Stu and all y'all too, of course. Unless you're American, I now think you're a pillar. Bob Smith says hello on Facebook, and Hirschbein says hi, folks, on Facebook. And T. Michelle says missed you. Oh, so sorry, T. Michelle. Next time. Upcoming at our shows says hello, can't wait. And to call yourself on YouTube Live upcoming at our shows, to me smacks of some sort of attempt at stealth promo, which I absolutely respect. So sausage action coming up. Clap, clap, clap. Ava Liversid, fabulous Ava Liversid, says hello. And the Lockdown Comedy Guide says, pillow guilty, I wear it like a boss, which fortunately takes the nasty edge off me insulting someone the first time that I went to the chat. We're going to start the show now, ladies and gentlemen, with this is my godson, Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hi there.
Hey, Tom, what is it that you can do that is particularly extraordinarily impressive?
I can do flips.
You can do flips. How old are you, Tom?
I'm 14.
He's 14 years old, and he can literally, can you run up a wall and kick off it?
Yeah, well, like in a gym, not outside.
In a gym. Oh, that's a shame. Tonight, you've got a backflip for us. Before I was going to do it, Tom, just to establish that you are really my godson, can you tell us, please, what is the most embarrassing moment of your life thus far?
I went to one of your comedy shows when I was about 8 or something, and you told the crowd, "Shut up, Tom, or I'll tell everybody when I wiped your bum."
Yeah. It's true, ladies and gentlemen. It was a comedy for kids gig. It was Tom's 8th birthday party, and as a result, because his uncle, Uncle Stu, was going to be doing the show, he was behaving like a drunk guy at a rowdy stag do. And at the beginning of my set, he'd been heckling all the acts. At the beginning of my set, I had to put him in his place by saying, "Pipe down, Tom, and I'll tell everyone here about the time I wiped your bum." I should point out he was significantly younger than 7 when I did that. Years later, I chatted to Tom on a long car journey. What's been the most embarrassing moment of your life so far? And he pointed out it was me. So there we are. To start the show, ladies and gentlemen, would you please, with bated breath, and go nuts if he pulls this off without necking himself, because let's face it, we're very much all responsible for this. Ladies and gentlemen, can I just ask everyone on the sofa, put your right hand in the air. Everyone on the sofa, put your right hand in the air. I take responsibility for Tom's safety. Just repeat after me.
I take responsibility for Tom's safety.
Sounds pretty legal to me. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my godson Tom doing a backflip to start the show.
Whoa!
Ladies and gentlemen, with Tom, you can follow Tom at tom.flipping. And I tell you what, Tom, because your hat fell off then, I'm not very impressed. Can you do anything more impressive?
I'll try this.
Oh, he's left. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's certainly what I'd have done under the circumstances. Nice, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for Tom. Thank you so much, Tom. And I assume it is now approaching your bedtime. Bye for now. Oh, man, that's me and Tom. Do you know what? I helped bring him up since he was a tiny, tiny baby. I love the bones of him. And these days, I'm just some adult twat that he can't be bothered to speak to. So, see if I managed to worm my way back into his affections. That was Tom, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to the chat. Clap, 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 says pretty much everyone. Could have kept the hat on, like, says Fighting the Sea. Mr. Hardacre says, losing the hat at the end was lovely. I thought so too. You're watching The Infinite Sofa with me, Stuart Goldsmith. Coming up later on, it's Russell Howard. But now we're going to go to my first official guest, by which I mean a professional comedian, performer, writer, podcaster, bugler, and creator of her own spin-off. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for a bit of Alice Fraser in your life? I hope you are, and I hope that by now I've done enough preamble. We've got to bear in mind it's 4 a.m. where she is in Australia, so there's every chance, having set up and done the tech test, she's left the room and fallen into a deep sleep. I've been doing a lot of preamble in the hope she'd switch on her video. She hasn't done that. She has done it now, ladies and gentlemen. It's Alice Fraser.
Yay. I was waiting for a big announcement. You know, I thought there was a lead up and then a da, and then I was waiting. I had my finger poised.
I totally get that, mate. What I realise is in the intro, and take a note of this if you can, David Hall, Stu, isn't to tell people wait until I introduce you. What I'm supposed to say is turn on your audio and video in the build-up to me introducing you. Otherwise, I introduce you, you switch it on, and we can't see or hear you for the first 3 seconds. I apologise.
I was maintaining ferocious focus. It's one of the most terrible things about lockdown, how we've spent the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, making our attention shorter and shorter. It's like we've done it with algorithms and everything. We've I spent a little bit of time with my niece before all this happened. She's 1, and she would just sit for 25 minutes putting pencils into a box and taking them out of a box. And I have to listen to a book while I'm reading a book. Just so that I'm never at any time bored.
Do you imagine, Alice, that your focus will improve due to having to put up with this lockdown situation? Are you improving your focus, your ability to stay with one subject?
I hope so. I hope I'm doing that. I'm certainly have learned how to listen to one book and read another book at the same time better, because it's not like I can pay attention to both of them at the same time. I just switch my attention between them. So the trick is you have to match genres. Because otherwise the narrative that seeps into your brain doesn't make any sense at all.
Now, forgive me,
you can't
Alice,
mix
I know you're
detective.
a bugler. I know you're a bugler, and as a result, nothing you say can be trusted. But have you genuinely done this?
I have, yes, actually, I have done this accidentally. I was reading a detective novel and listening to a fantasy book, and I'd sort of switch between them depending on if I was sitting down and reading or walking somewhere, in the tube or whatever it happens to be. But again, detective and fantasy, bad, because the butler is always the dragon. That's the thing.
Now, here's something I should have set up earlier on. Anyone who's on the sofa, raise your hand if you've got a question for Alice Fraser. You can help interview Alice Fraser. Sort of thing I should have mentioned earlier on, and then you wouldn't all be sat there right now going, I love Alice. So, I feel like because there's 2 of you, let's go to Roz and Sam. Roz and Sam, Alice Fraser.
Hello. Hi. Sorry,
Great question. Okay, so back to Alice Fraser. By now, I feel like everyone else has had a decent amount of time to think about it. So does anyone think they've got let's not call it an emergency question. There could be copyright issues. Let's go over to Harry. Harry, let's have your question, please, for Alice Fraser.
What's the biggest similarity between the legal and comedic professions?
That is an absolute banger of a question. Good work, Harry. What have we got for us, Alice?
I mean, this is deadly. You need to know that me doing comedy is just a bare surface layer over me having a really deep conversation about something. The biggest similarity is a deconstructive mindset. Although lawyers are inherently more pessimistic, they have to look at all the things that could possibly go wrong, and comedians have to look at all the things that could possibly go right and be infinitely optimistic despite repeated evidence to the contrary.
That is a genuinely impressive answer, and I believe I'm going to go over to Harry to give him a chance to respond. Why not put this fucker up the spot?
I don't know, was a response to a question like that was a very good answer, but
no further questions.
Yeah, that's it.
So, over to Alice. Alice, would you like to take revenge on Harry by judging his house?
I'm not hugely judgmental. It seems like a nice house. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's look into it in a little more depth, because it seems like a nice house, but I've got my suspicions. Harry, are you able to, without unplugging anything?
Oh, so this was just an excuse for you to bully someone.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Was that not clear? This entire show is an excuse for me to bully someone. I'll give you an example. David.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the most tender memory you have? That's enough of that. So, okay, let's go to Harry's house. What can you talk us through the art there? It says, does that say crisis behind you, Harry? Is that your own?
No, not my own art. It came from an ill-advised trip to Portugal with my ex-wife. Literally ill-advised. The day before, a therapist said, "Don't go on the holiday," and then we went, and this was a very accurate, or the most relevant sort of knick-knack we've taken. It just says crisis.
And that was absolutely superb. Alice, what is your judgment of Harry based on that?
I just noticed his accent. Are you South African, Harry?
Nailed it. I am indeed.
Yeah.
Well, this is all going swimmingly well. Alice, let's move away from the judging thing. I don't want to ask you to be a judge. After all, you're more usually the brief in your legal profession, and that's a sort of fudgy thing about judges, which I can see in your eyes has deeply disappointed you.
It was just sort of mash up legal. You just did the equivalent, and I haven't been a lawyer for years, and I was only a lawyer for a short period of time in my life, but you just did the equivalent of going, so how are your little skits going?
Yeah, that is exactly what I intended to do. And to be fair, over in the chat, the Lockdown Comedy Guide on Twitch has said Stu spent a career cultivating a lovely guy image just to buy himself the right to bully strangers. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. Fighting the Sea says, I once sent 30 grand to a completely random bank account in a divorce when I was a lawyer, and I've lost a similar amount of money from my comedy career, so pretty similar professions. Alice, I believe you have just in the last few days released your Amazon Prime special. How's that going?
It's very exciting. The feedback has been really good so far, which is nice because it is like probably my most vulnerable show, arguably not the one to put out to the world. But it's old and it's, you know, I did it ages ago, but this was the one that I thought is kind of my heart on a plate. So is it comedy? Is it a show? Yes.
Have Amazon spoken to you? Have you been briefed about how you're supposed to be advertising it at all?
No, I'm clearly not doing. Oh, it's a beautiful, breathtaking work of heartbreaking wonder that'll change your life.
Oh, nice. Can we just go to the, let's just go to gallery view for a second. Can you raise your hand, members of the sofa, if you were a fan of Alice before and had every intent of seeing this show? Fantastic. And can you raise your hand if you are now interested in seeing the show off the basis of that pitch? Sure. We're changing lives here. I'm just going to go over to Jose because you were really late on the hand raising. You were like, no, I suppose everyone else is going to raise their hand.
Must be the lag. I haven't got Amazon Prime.
Fair enough. I am now going to mute Jose. So, Amazon Prime, you're not really welcome. Alice, am I right in saying that it's 4 a.m. where you are?
It was 4 a.m. It is now 5 a.m.
Oh my God.
And in an hour it'll be 6 a.m.
How time works. Listen, if nothing else, maybe Amazon Prime can clip you explaining that bit and use it as a sort of leader of the trailer, just to lend some real intellectual credibility. Before we keep you up for any longer, Alice, do you have a little something prepared for us?
I do, yes. I have a song. If I can remember all the words, then it will be good. This is my banjo. Just to say, it's my mom's banjo, and this is a song about a thing that we should all be doing right now. It's muffled because it's very early in the morning. I don't want to wake people up. Here's a song to wash your hands, to soak them up, and let's begin. Sing this song and wash your hands and contemplate your moral sins. Scrub your thumbs and rinse your wrists. Remember chances you have missed. Now do your fingers in between and know inside you'll never be clean. Get your nails to the front and back and dwell on words you can't take back. Now dry your hands and lift your heart and think about this one clean part. It's not that much, but it's a start. You've washed your hands and that's a start.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the incredible Alice Fraser. Thank you so much, Alice. Thanks so much for being on the show. I feel like the decent thing to do would be to let you immediately go to bed. Are you going to bed, or are you the sort of person who's going to get up, read 2 books, learn Mandarin, and get on a treadmill?
No, I'm going to watch the rest of the show and do some lunges.
Some lunges. Well, if you're back at the end, then maybe you could do a backflip for us. Ladies and gentlemen, Fraser, thank you so much. There we go. They do say when live streaming that if you can mispronounce the name of your guest at the very end as Alif Fraser, then that's why they pay you the micro subscription payment. Speaking of which, to coin a phrase, speaking of which, if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can do a little friendly thing. What you can do, listen, you can do a friendly thing anyway. Don't feel like you have to wait until you're an Amazon Prime member before you can do a friendly thing, although it does count as penance towards undoing the work of the demon Bezos. You can help support the stream. Hang on, someone's pulled the plug. You can help support the stream for free. If you have Amazon Prime and you have Twitch, you can link the 2 accounts together and subscribe at completely no cost to yourself. For some reason, I've written that in the script. Completely no cost. Not just no cost, comprehensively nothing. I mean, that's financial cost. There may be a small emotional or ethical cost. Plus, don't talk about that. Plus, you'll get extra perks like access to the Zoom room and in-chat features. And I tell you what, while we're plugging stuff, why don't we just point out in a moment the delightful sausage are coming on? But we've got this thing. Callum, producer Callum, can you let me know, did we send out the invitations? Along with the invitations, did we send out access to the virtual green room?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we've got a thing set up where we've got a shared document. Callum can send me messages. I couldn't remember where on my screen it was. Callum came back very quickly with yes. So, guys, if you are in the sofa and if you have ever donated to the show, you can join us. The password is Mambo, but you only got the link if you've actually donated to the show. For a little bit of time after the show, there's a virtual green room where you can run around. It makes use of an arcane technology that we're trying, and to be fair, earlier broke really badly. But if it does work, we get to actually hang out in person, and the nearer and further you get away from each other, the worse and the better you can hear and see each other. Put that in your mind, try to understand it, you'll be doing better than me. So, coming up, ladies and gentlemen, the delightful sausage. But before the delightful sausage, let's have a chancer. Is everyone ready to welcome a chancer to the show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before we welcome the chancer, just quickly, here's a quick poll. Just take part in a poll there, ladies and gentlemen. The poll is this. Should we offer the headline guest a tenner as a fee for coming onto the show? Should we offer them the tenner live to their face without having prepared them at all to see whether or not they take the tenner? We're just
That's not unanimous. So
what bastard voted no? Was that you, David? David,
No.
I voted no.
I'm heavily pro voting yes for that. So
Okay,
I want to see.
So the results are in. It's 94%. That's 16 people voted yes. We should offer the headline guest a tenner live to their face. Hopefully that has given Mr. Edy Hurst enough time to join the show, but no, I'm looking at gallery view and he's not here. Let's check the chat. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Would you please welcome for his first appearance on the show and his first appearance in my life, a man who I know is a fan of the podcast and we've had correspondence, but I've never seen his act. I assume it's magnificent. He talks a good game. Please welcome Edy Hurst.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me. It's a big pleasure to be here, Stu. I know you took a chance on me, and I won't abuse the trust you've given me. I'll just flip that over. Here.
Absolute chancer, mate. Right, go for it.
All right, okay, guys. Well, look, Zoom's made things a little different, but all the more exciting. So, I'm a musical comedian by trade. I have a loop pedal here with me, which this is it here. And normally the best way to explain what a loop pedal is to show. And I've actually found a really interesting thing that you can do with Zoom. So I'm just going to show you how it works, and then we'll have a bit of fun with it. So the first thing, you press the button down, and it's recording this, like it's recording everything that I say now. So if I go blah 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 blah, when I press this again, you'll just hear it going, this is and so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to try and pass the audio over to some of you in the audience. So what we're going to do is we're trying to like say the exact same thing as I've been saying so that we get like a lovely little harmony. So I hope you've been listening really carefully to what I'm going to say, because it's going to be pretty wild. So guys, get ready. Toot toot, here comes the banter bus, all aboard the fun train. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to pass it over to you, Neil. Why not? 3, 2, 1, here we go. Get ready. When I push the button, you'll hear the sound will come in, and then you just try and speak over it. Okay, so here we go. Shit. Sorry. No, you can hear like that's. So, I'm getting noise out of it, but I'm not going. Hello. Hold it. Sorry. Hello. I can't hear a thing. This is what. I'm so. Hold on. Sorry. Hello. I can't. No. Fuck. It's fucking happened again. Hello. I can't. Fucking happened again. Hello. Absolutely. It's not a problem at all, guys. It's not. Hello. Hello. Help, please. Problem is shoot out. Help me, please. Hello. Help, please. Problem is shoot out. Help, please. Problem is shoot out. So Neil, I'm going to hand it over to you, Neil. Let me know when you're ready. And 3, 2, 1. And that's how loop pedal works. Now we all.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Edy Hurst. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much. Edy, I enjoyed that. I thought it was a nice slow build-up where you had everybody deliberately worried, and then it was a lovely crescendo.
Story of my life.
Neil, how was that for you as an interactive theatrical experience?
It was the dream come true. It was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, I'm pleased to hear it. Ian, did you enjoy that?
Immense amounts.
Did you like it so much you want to get in that cupboard behind you? Come on, Ian. Pop yourself in the cupboard.
Hey.
Woo! I really don't want to oversell this, ladies and gentlemen, but every time we've tried this show, Ian's been here. He's a frequent donor, a big friend of the show, and he always ends up in the cupboard. I tried to make out it's his fault, but it was clearly not his fault. Ian, would you be prepared to stay in that cupboard for the whole of the next act?
Oh.
No. I'm not. Look, mate, I'm not going to actually ask him to thank you. I'm not going to ask him to do it. I just, Ian, can you hear me? Great stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Ian, it's all right. You can come out of the cupboard. Thank you so much. Edy Hurst, are you promoting or promoting anything at the moment besides the 3 things behind you?
No, nothing at the moment. Well, I'm doing.
Glad to hear it. So there we go. That was Edy's. I feel that's me as well. I'm just bullying people. Come on, let's get back to Edy, and then we'll have the delightful sausage in just a second. So, Amy and Chris, if you could turn your audio and video on. Edy, where can we see you besides those places?
Well, you can see me in Sale, if you know that, in South Manchester. I'm there for a while at the moment. Don't know when I'm going to leave. If you want to come along, why not? It's just me and my heavily pregnant wife, so we're having a great time.
Very pleased to hear it. Thank you very much. Let's give it up one more time for Edy Hurst. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks very much,
Good
guys.
to see you again. Now, I can hear. Hang on a minute. Something's going on here. I believe we have from the delightful sausage. It's Amy Gledhill, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome her to the show.
Hello.
It's great to see you.
Oh, it's nice to see you, but you've got a bit of a scary energy, Stu.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
I think that is fair. How's your energy? You seem bright and bushy-tailed. Are you having a good time? How are you surviving the lockdown?
Do you know what? It's an awful circumstance, but I'm actually having quite a lot of fun. My Sims are thriving. I'm smashing through multi-packs faster than I ever have before.
Are you playing The Sims, did you say, Amy? You're playing The Sims?
Yeah, and I had quite a big development today, so I managed to get one of my characters to flirt with the Grim Reaper. And I'm really proud of that.
I feel like I don't know The Sims well enough to know whether that's even possible. Is that the sort of thing you're supposed to do?
You're not supposed to, but it is possible, and it's a very big deal, actually.
The Sims, the sort of game where you can like have a baby and leave it to die in a swimming pool and kind of mad shit like that.
Sure, yeah, you can.
If you can, there's no need to do this big telegraph reaction as if I've said something awful if the idea has already crossed your mind. That's an outrage. Now, Amy, now you're suffering under a particularly difficult time in the lockdown. You're taking it with very good grace, but obviously you're part of a comedy double act. So how is that working? Are you able to function as a comedy double act? Where's your double act partner?
So basically, we're isolating separately, even though he did try and convince his wife and child that he should isolate with me so we could get stuff done.
Absolute legend.
But she didn't go for it. So I'm basically on an industrial estate in Bury, Greater Manchester, and Chris is well, he's got quite different circumstances to. Is he there?
I think we can go to Chris now.
Hey guys, lockdown day 23. Hell. Oh.
Chris, whatever happens, please do not risk, even for comic effect, please do not risk actually having an accident involving broken glass, alcohol, and a hot tub.
Imagine the ratings, though. Wow.
What are your circumstances, Chris? Where are you?
I'm in Cumbria. I'm not getting any sleep because it's lambing season. They won't shut up.
What a crushing bore that must be, Chris. What kind of is this? Your house?
No, this is my my in-laws own a B&B. I've made so many enemies during this pandemic. My in-laws own a B&B in Cumbria, which is now empty. So just before lockdown, we were like, should we go and live there for 3 months?
I'm going to quickly move the spotlight to Amy, but I'm going to address you, Chris. I've just been made aware that Twitch has a no nipple policy for real, and we might get in trouble if we can see them.
Stu, pull it back.
I'm serious. I don't want to. I'm new to Twitch. I don't want to lose this. Come on, let's see.
These are not what they used to be. Below level.
I'm just going to ask you to ensure that your nips are below the level of the hot tub.
You know what? I haven't been wearing a bra since lockdown began, so mine are out, but they're under the desk.
Maybe producer Callum can enlighten me. Does Twitch have a no hypothetical nipple policy? Like, are we okay to be on it given that we are humans with nipples? Is it just visible nipples? Is it can we talk about nipples? What are the rules? Amy,
is it just my nipples?
Chris, how's your nipple chat? Have you got any thoughts about nipples?
They've lived a life now. And they're going to stay below water sea level. I think that's better for everybody.
You look like for once in the entire lockdown, you're slightly uncomfortable.
I wanted to show everybody those bad boys. What about them?
I don't know if you're aware of this, Chris, but when you scooched round, we did get a bit of a sort of top third of the butt. It was a good angle. It was a good angle.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Who's the hot dad now, Stu?
Well, why don't we put it to a vote? Who's the hot dad now?
Oh.
We're absolutely. Oh, okay. That's a vote to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to gallery mode. Raise your hands. I tell you what, I don't think I should be a part of this, but I believe Ben Milden. Are you a dad?
I am.
Ben, could you just introduce us to the gun show briefly? We're going to have a dad off with you and Chris.
I'd really rather not, but I will.
Come on then, sunshine. You've got tattoos. Look
There
at
we go.
that.
That's all it is.
Okay, so I'm just going to briefly go to gallery view. Who do you reckon is the hottest dad out of Ben and Chris? So we'll vote. Hands on your head if you think it's Chris. Hands under your chin if you think it's Ben. Vote now. Under your. It looks like the underdog wins once again. Are you voting for yourself? Cover those nipples. My God. Ben, it turns out you are the hottest dad out of you and
I do.
tough man in a hot tub.
I'm getting bad internet connection, unfortunately. That's the only problem with being in Cumbria. I think I'm going. Like, what's happening?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Chris, can you, I'm going to ask you, Chris, I'm going to stop your video simply so that we don't get in trouble. And I'm just going to give this opportunity. Amy, I'm spotlighting you for a second. Amy, did you know that the highest donor so far during this stream is someone called Philip Little 42, and he'll get a chance in a couple of minutes to teleport into the show unless anyone beats him. Did you know that?
I didn't know that, but that's exciting.
Well, you do now. David, did you know that Philip Little 42 is the highest donor?
I hadn't been keeping tabs, no. But I'm so excited.
Pathetic. I've muted David. I'm sorry everyone had to see that. Amy, what are you guys promoting at the moment? What are you doing? Are you managing to do anything during the lockdown?
Yeah, so we started doing a podcast before lockdown began, thinking, a nice fresh podcast for everyone. But now every comedian's doing a podcast. But,
you shut your whore mouth.
Wow. Kind of sexy. My nipples have gone hard under the desk.
No nipple chat. We're not allowed to talk about that. We're absolutely not allowed to cover that. I'm so sorry, Amy. That was just an instinct. I went with the instinct. Do tell us, please, about your delightful sausage, delightful podcast.
So it's called Tiredness Kills. And it's a really weird, gross, silly mixture of me and Chris chatting and weird, really strange characters. And Neil has listened to it, I believe. Neil, who's in the chat.
Let's have a spotlight review from Neil. What did you think in one word?
I've listened to the first one. I'm doing the second one
tomorrow. Too many words, Neil. Maggie, what did you think in one word? What do you reckon?
Witty.
Yeah, all right, that's reasonable. I'm sorry, I muted you there by instinct, Maggie. I didn't mean to do that. Where can we find this podcast, Amy? Does it reside in some weird place where you can't normally get podcasts, or is it just where everyone gets fucking podcasts?
It's where everyone gets fucking podcasts. Every bloody place. Get it where you like. Get it where you want. It's there.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Get it where you want with Amy Glenhill, the delightful sausage. Can you all join me in thanking Amy and Chris with a huge round of applause and wishing Chris well in his very difficult lockdown experience? Woo! Thank you so much for coming along, Amy. Thank you, Chris. Please cover yourselves up if that is at all possible. So I've got some exciting news, ladies and gentlemen. Philip Little 42 has been in touch to point out he's watching via a Fire Stick, whatever that is, and is unable to teleport into the show. The new biggest donor is Bird with £25, ladies and gentlemen. And look, it's 8:30. Let's invite Bird into the show. Can we give Bird a huge round of applause? Thanks. I mean, that round of applause was effectively pointless because Bird at the moment will be hopefully checking their email and performing a series of functions. Also, a series of functions. David, could you fill for a second? Just do a poem or something?
Yeah, okay. Everything is fine.
That'll do. Thanks, mate. Okay. It's muted reasonably. As we wait for the teleporter to arrive, maybe you could let me know, Callum, when they are in the thing. In the waiting room. We're going to play a quick game with the audience now before we welcome the teleportee and then our headline guest, Russell Howard. There is enough time at this point for me to... No, I'll do this as we play the game. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play Grandmother's Footsteps. So I'd like everyone to go as far away from your webcam as you possibly can. David, you can probably get to the back corner of that room. Jose, you've got to at least be behind that sofa. Perhaps Sam, you could get... Or Roz, you could get behind Sam. Get as far away as you can. Come on, Sheila. You can press yourself right up against that wall, I'm sure. Right, is that behind the cat? If you can, you could use the cat for cover. What we're going to do here, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to cover my eyes. When I cover my eyes, you slowly move towards the camera Back you go, Sam. I saw that. Put the cat down. I'm going to cover my eyes. When I uncover them, if you're moving, you get sent back, okay? The winner is the first person to cover their webcam with their thumb. A quick game, and then we'll welcome Bird, who is teleporting into the show. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Grandmother's Footsteps. Sheila, go back. Very good, the rest of you. Ben, that was too fast. I saw you move. And Leslie, I saw your thumb approaching it. Ian, you can't do it as I've got my eyes on the group. Get back in the cupboard, all the way back to the cupboard. Thank you very much. David B, go back. Andy, go back. Sheila, go back. Neil, go back. Oh, Harry. I think Harry's done it, ladies and gentlemen. Harry's done it. Let's give Harry some love. Oh, no, maybe he's just gone dead. No, he's actually disappeared. There we go, Harry, ladies and gentlemen. Harry, round of applause. Did you just piss off for a cigarette? Is that what happened there?
Yeah, I just went the long way around and got in there.
The authority I wield here is significant, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, she is in the room. The teleportee is in the room. We've just got time for me to tell you that there's a thing I should be telling you. If you donate at infinitesofa.com now, you've got the chance to be on next Thursday's show. It's at 9 p.m, the later time, 9 p.m, not 8 p.m. as advertised. We're trying 9 p.m, basically so I can help get my baby to bed rather than fucking off to my cellar and doing my little show. Air quotes, not my wife. She's very supportive. Now, sofa.com, you can be on this Thursday. The next show is at 9 p.m. The guests are Matt Ricardo, incredible juggler extraordinaire, gentleman juggler Matt Ricardo, Guy Montgomery, all the way from New Zealand. He'll be getting up very early in the morning in order to give us some tips on what to eat during a lockdown. Suze Kempner is going to be here, cult hero Suze Kempner, and also, according to this script, Shappy Korsanid. So whoever that is, Shappy Korsanid will be in the room. I hope Shappy Korsandi will be here. And to be fair, I spelt that myself, and I did do a bang-up job of the tricky bit at the beginning of her surname, but I've just run out of any apologies to Shappy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our penultimate guest. Before we welcome Russell Howard, please welcome Ali Bird to the show. This is Ali. Where's Ali? Can we get some... I've just asked Ali to turn on her video and audio. It's Ali Bird, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest donor to the show. Ali Bird, give it up. Thank you very much. Now, Ali, you have the chance to ask a question to Russell Howard. So get thinking of a question, please, so that you don't come to that moment. We ask you for a question and you sit there looking like this idiot, all right? We don't want any of that. To be fully prepped for the question to ask. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, everybody. Before we complete the show with our headline celebrity special guest, just to tell you, earlier today, I booked Sarah Millican. She's going to be on the show. Ramesh Ranganathan has agreed, but has not answered my last two texts. And on Monday, it's James Acaster, and he's going to be having his mind read by Nick Mohammed. Come on. Go to infinitesofa.com for all of your links. The mailing list is on there. The mailing list gets you into the green room, which is happening after the show, to a variable standard of happening based on whether we can get the fucking tech to work. If anyone was there this morning in the Comedian podcast, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been neglecting the chat. So here we go. Claps for Harry, claps for all. Bird strike, shouts Hardacre. Mother Funky says, watch out, Ali. And Philip Little 42 says, Acaster. I mean, he's not here now, but maybe that's just you're generally backing me up. Matthias says, Ian, get in the cupboard. We probably have got time for that. Just do us a favour and pop back into the cupboard.
Yeah, he loves it.
Ian, I think whenever you're in the cupboard, you need to give us a thumbs up as soon as you get in there to signify you're in and happy. So, before we welcome our final guest, ladies and gentlemen, we've done a bit of the chat. A Fire Stick is Amazon's TV device, says Dave Natris. Yeah, I sort of understood it was a thing, but I do appreciate you telling me. And I should say as well, can I just check, was that David or Callum that spotlit me because I forgot to spotlight myself?
Callum.
Was that you? Callum. That is specifically one of your jobs, is to do that.
I reminded you in the messages, but you didn't do it yourself, no.
Yeah, but you're. Did I not make you co-host?
No, you didn't. No.
In this instance, you are blameless.
No.
Don't go getting ideas. Thank you, Callum. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We've come to the final guest in the show. I feel like there was another thing to do on the what's it? No, we did that. We played that. Let's just cut straight to the celebrity headline guest. Ladies and gentlemen, he should be in the room now. Would you please welcome, and I'm going to keep doing a big introduction until he's here. Ladies and gentlemen, it's fucking Russell Howard, ladies and gentlemen. Russell, did I mention earlier on that if you go on gallery view, you can see everybody?
Yes.
Good. Here's everybody. Yeah.
Hello.
Thanks, Russ. Thanks for coming on.
Is Ian still in the cupboard?
Ian is still in the cupboard. Let's just check that out. Yes, Ian in the
Fuck
cupboard.
me, that looks like the bleakest Narnia imaginable. Lucy would open it and there's just a fawn doing heroin. You've come to the wrong world, Lucy.
It's up to you. You can, if you want, you can let Ian out of the cupboard.
Or come out of the cupboard, man.
Out the cupboard, please, Ian. You've been officially let out.
See, that feels like that should be a deleted scene from Homes Under the Hammer. You're not having the fucking house. You're not having it.
I'm pretty sure that deleted scenes from Homes Under the Hammer would function as a potential alternate title for the Infinite Sofa.
I met him, Martin from Homes Under the Hammer. I was doing a gig once at, where was I? Yeah, the Albert Hall, right? And I turn around. And
I always have trouble forgetting where the gig is when it's someone.
But it was Martin from Hammer, and he was there with my brother. Right? It was just so weird, and I was like, "The fuck's Martin from Homes Under the Hammer here?" And my brother's like, "I want to get into business," and I met him on the tube, so he's here. All right, the weirdest, and he ate all the sandwiches, so like, there was no food, and yeah, it was very odd.
We've been loving, Russell. We've been watching your fabulous TV show, which you're doing. Which nights are you on? Which is it? Tuesdays and Thursdays you do?
Tuesdays and Thursdays, yeah. And then it's on YouTube.
And it's all shot in your room, in the very room that you're in at the moment.
Yeah. So it's my mum and dad's room. My wife is a doctor, and she is on the front line.
Can we have a huge round of applause for Russell's wife?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty horrific, but amazing that she's doing it. And so she's in our house, with a couple of doctors who have got elderly relatives. So I'm sort of staying away. It's pretty weird, but you know.
And whereabouts are you? Does that mean are you in Bath? Whereabouts are your parents?
I'm at home with my parents. Yeah. So it's it's been a bizarre couple of weeks. Very, very strange. And I've had a fairly weird week. I did Lorraine this week. I don't know if anyone saw.
I'm just going to ask you to clarify exactly what you mean there.
There's always a palpable sexual tension between me and Lorraine, and that's evident. I had a sip of cider, and the reason I did that was because it was meant to be my brother's stag do. So I thought it would be funny to have the stag on Lorraine. And it was a joke for my brother and for my mates, and it went fucking mad. It was in the papers, like there was in the Sun, it was like TV view. I've written it down here. TV viewers shocked as Howard swigged cider at 9:15. So, and I genuinely thought, well, you know, it can't get weirder than that. And yet today, on my dad's birthday, this was a headline that I had sent to me. Can you see this?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Made the Russell Howard sex robot company during lockdown. So, how weird is this? That hopefully, you know, I make it to an old age, and hopefully I'll have grandchildren by then, and we'll be in a supermarket, and I'll be going, "Oh yeah, there was a great lockdown. Do you know what happened? Yeah, somebody fucked a robot version of your granddad." Talking about, oh man, I'll show you.
It's probably quite dangerous when you're someone as well known and well recognised as you, where stuff like that comes up, that if you do end up in a nursing home in your elderly years, you better still be famous, otherwise people are just going to assume you're mental.
So many stories, yeah, it's going to be bizarre. I often fantasize about that, I hope I'm next to a laugher. Do you know what I mean? I'm really good, and I'm sort of just in this sort of wheelchair, just wheeling over to her, and I just hear her laugh, and it just, you know, like a bit like old sailors that have to be near the sea. Just drifts me back to happiness.
Russell, are you happy to field a question from a teleportee, a member of our audience who donated to join us during the show? Is that all right with you?
I would love to, yeah. You feel a bit like, you know, somebody that's kind of, you know, like sort of people that bid loads to get on like a ship to go to fucking Mars. Do you know what I mean? So absolutely. What's your question? What's your name, first of all? Ali.
Oh, hello.
Nice to meet you.
Who's the footballer on the wall?
That is Robbie Fowler.
So is that you or your parents who are the Liverpool fans?
That's me. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, that's Robbie Fowler. It's signed by Robbie Fowler. His nicknames are The Truth or God. But yeah, he's one of my favourite footballers. He's the only thing that remains from when I was young. I didn't really have. We were talking about this. I didn't really have posters of kind of girls on my room. On the wall when I grew up, like it just felt like you were sort of giving the game away to your mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, so what was like? Do you know what I mean? It's like leaving your fucking evidence. Kept it all kind of barren, you know.
Yeah.
Who would have been the poster of a girl you did have, or a celebrity lady that you would have had on your wall?
I didn't have one.
To give it away?
So I would, I was old school. I'd get like a Grattan mag or a Littlewoods magazine. You know what's really weird about that is I'm now of an age where I'll see these women and I'll sometimes see them in an advert and they're advertising like a walk-in bath. I'm like, where do I know you? It's like when you meet Kylie Minogue, it's like she knows, and you know that she knows. How about you, Stu? Who's your?
Sorry, go on.
Who's your lady? Did you have them all over?
Well, I never had a poster of her, but I was a huge fan of Ace from Doctor Who. The actress Sophie Aldred. I don't know if you remember when it was Sylvester McCoy was Doctor Who. Sophie Aldred was the first kind of spunky helper who didn't get captured. She blew stuff up. She had a leather jacket and she was really cool.
Oh, nice.
And now she's married to my friend Vince and we're good friends and she knows.
Wow. Oh my God, that's so bizarre.
Yeah, I should point out my friend Vince is in his early 60s. He's not just like a chancer who's my age who's managed to score with Sophie Aldred.
How extraordinary is that?
Yeah. At my wedding, Sophie was there, and there was a mate of mine, Dave, Dave Carden. If you're out there, Dave, probably shouldn't have said your name. But I said to Dave, it was the most lovely reaction. I said to Dave, "So Sophie's here. Do you want to meet her?" And he went, "Yes, no." And he like, it would have been like a childhood thing, potentially breakable, you know?
Yeah, how weird.
Very weird. Russell, are you maintaining? You're quite a sort of physically fit, exercisey kind of person. I remember when we first gigged together many, many years ago, you were in the habit of doing press-ups before you went on stage. And I think that got you, that's like a habit you developed deliberately. Are you maintaining your trim? Are you doing Joe Wicks workouts in lockdown and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm pumped and waxed, man. No, do you know, it's a really weird one because it keeps me sane. It levels my mind and eases my soul. It really does, like running and doing exercise. But you can't talk about it. It's just not funny. Do you know what I mean? It's that weird. But it's so odd. And I had to stop going to the gym because it kept getting mentioned in reviews. Do you know what I mean? So it was just like, oh, fuck's sake. So the one thing that kind of kept me fucking sane was like, well, I can't do that because I'm too jacked. So now I'm living with my dad, and my dad is my dad's 66 and cycles like 4 hours in the morning and just does like diamond press ups and all sorts. So
tell us. I know what a diamond press up is, but can you tell us what a diamond press up is?
You kind of go like that, you can see, and you sort of press like that. You know, so I'm now in a competition with my dad every morning, but I caught him. Here's an interesting question. You never quite know the music that people listen to when they work out, because normally it's in the headphones, you know. And my dad, genuinely, I listened, this, it was about 2 days ago now, and this was the music as he was on his bike. I wanna sex you up. Song from Colour Me Bad, which has the most chilling line in it where he goes, making love until we drown. Like, so I then poured over the lyrics. And there's a lyric in that where he goes, come inside, take off your clothes, I'll make you feel at home, which I would argue wouldn't make you feel at home. If somebody came in and went, right, lose all of it, right? Feel better now, don't you? But yeah, who knew my dad was into kind of early 90s kind of, what would you call that, kind of pop R&B, you know?
Have you done the thing where you've moved back, not that you've moved back, so very, very temporarily to your parents' house. Have you ended up back in the rhythm? Do you feel like you lost kind of the status you might have outside of the house? Do you feel like you've turned back into your childhood self?
Mate, on my 40th birthday, I was supposed to be doing an arena in Amsterdam that was sold out. And I spent that night in my fucking teenage bed. like not even having the kind of... I was just sort of led there, just feeling like shit. It was awful. And the fact that my wife was away. So yeah, it's just been, to be honest, doing the TV show has been an absolute godsend, because I'm doing it all for the NHS charities together and the Trussell Trust. So it kind of feels like, right, I'll do that. You know what I mean? And suddenly, as soon as you're busy, it's odd, isn't it, how a purpose gets you through stuff. The time I really struggle is when I've got nothing to do. It absolutely breaks me. Like when I'm like, oh, fuck. And I bet you're the same, where you're just like, I don't know what to do. Because you can't relax. You kind of, you go for, I took my dog for a walk the other day. And that's kind of sort of slightly strange, because, one minute you love humanity, and then if somebody comes fucking vaguely near you, you just go straight to 100. If you're famous, that's tricky, because you're never quite sure of the words that are lurking, and then they're out. And you're sort of walking away, and you think, really, we just said that to an old man, did we? And you're like, yeah. It's tricky.
Oh, mate. Well, so did we take it you turned 40 quite recently? Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was 40, 23rd of March. Yeah, same day as Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho. Birthday twins Bill Cosby. So let's move on from that.
Really? Judging by your earlier demeanour. Very aggressive earlier. I thought I'd had a weird day.
You'd be aggressive if you had to put up with this on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm not a great person to be around, Russell.
Oh, that's
lovely.
Enough of that.
Who are you? What's your name?
Sorry, he can't talk to you. I've muted him. David Hoare, he's sort of assisting me on the show.
He seems nice.
He does.
Thank you very much.
Definitely nice. There we go, David.
Thanks, Russell. Can you take over this show instead of Stu?
I've put David in the waiting room now. I'm not having that kind of behaviour. Absolutely not accepting that at all. Russell, thank you so much for joining us. You don't need to do anything promotional, because you're a million times bigger than we are. But is there anything that you would like? Oh, I tell you what I must do. We voted on this earlier on, and actually what we're going to do at the end of each show, at the end of the celebrity interview, as well as thanking you very much for coming on, you do have a small fee. We've got £10 for you, so I'm going to offer that to you now.
I was the person that said no.
I'm afraid
that was a minute after because I had a weird day today. I was on Sims, dressed as the Grim Reaper, and this Amy started fucking rubbing against me. I was like, this is not what I come on the Sims for. I don't want anyone cracking on to me. I can't accept a tenner. It feels wrong. So give that tenner to it was that cat doing the loop, or that. I tell you what, give it to the bloke from what they called the Infinite Sausage. The Delightful Sausage.
Yeah.
Give him and he can buy some tit tape with it, so that he can put the world to twist. Who knew that was the biggest? Why are nipples such a threat?
Yeah.
Weird, that you just kind of, when you consider that Twitch is like a gaming format, right? Where you can go on Grand Theft Auto and you can like run over sex workers with a van. But the idea
you can do that. I don't know if that's explicitly what it's for, but you can.
No, but let's not fuck around. People do that on Grand Theft Auto. There's fucking shoot 'em ups. But the idea that a sketch comedian can't get his tits out, that seems weird. That's too much. Do you know what I mean? There are standards. Do you know what I mean? It just seems odd.
We did get a bit of stuff in the chat there. Mr. Harderaker on Twitch said, can we see Russell's nips? I believe we've already dealt with that. Please keep them away. I would love it if you had the foresight, Russell, to prepare some tit tape on your nips so that you could lift your shirt. But I'm not going to ask you to do that just in case.
Yeah.
No, perfectly reasonable. Absolutely. 14 question mark. 23rd of March says Holly Whitbread. That's my dad's birthday.
Nice.
Have you got anything to add to that? Doesn't sort of seem like the sort of comment you could give anything to.
All I was going to say is that you look like you are a human being that has been designed by Tim Burton.
Me
it's really interesting. Your hair looks absolutely great, isn't it? It's sort of certain people, but because you're a good-looking bloke, but you are getting better looking as you get older. But you also have the edge of like a fucking wizard that makes spells that don't work. as well. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I was really loving where that was going up until the spells. Until the magic
do
left.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, put it in the cauldron. I'm not sure about that. Like that. Baby nipples everywhere. Twitch cancel.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Russell.
Pleasure,
Because
man.
it has been remarkable. Go on.
That was it. I was saying goodbye. I really enjoyed that. Thanks.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me. Can we have a huge round of applause for Russell? I just said thanks for having me on my own show. Thank you very much. Cheers, Russell. Thank you, mate. I don't know if anybody caught that, but I did just sign off to Russell by saying thanks for having me. So a real winner, real moment there. I think I was thrown because he complimented me. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got 4 minutes left over, just enough time to tell you that next Thursday the show is at the later time of 9 p.m. And when I say next Thursday, I mean this Thursday. Hands up, hands on your head if you think that when someone says next Thursday, they mean the next one that comes, and hands on your chin if you think it's the one after that. Next means that one, next and then that one. I've already forgotten the things I decided. Well, not to worry. 9 p.m. Shappy Corsandi is going to be our celebrity interview, along with cult hero Suze Kempner, brilliant Guy Montgomery, who, incidentally, just on the subject of Guy Montgomery, if you're not familiar with his podcast, you can check it out. It's called The Worst Idea of All Time. And in it, Guy Montgomery and his friend and brilliant comedian Tim Batt watch the movie Grown Ups 2 every Monday for a year and then review it. So listen to The Worst Idea of All Time. Guy Montgomery is going to be here talking about healthy eating during lockdown. That's going to be brilliant. And Matt Ricardo is here. And for those of you who don't know, Matt Ricardo is one of the most sensational street performers you've ever seen. He's a gentleman juggler. We were at Covent Garden together many years ago. You know that trick where you pull the tablecloth off the table and everything stays on it? I'm just going to watch your faces. Callum, can we go to the view when I say this is genuinely true? Matt Ricardo can put it back on the tablecloth. So that is a genuine thing. I don't know if that's the stunt he's going to be doing for us, but it is what he's going to do. I feel like I haven't asked for donations often enough. So here's one last time. You are watching Infinite Sofa live here on infinitesofa.com. You're watching on Twitch, which is live anyway, on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. Thank you so much to everyone that's been in the chat. Why are nipples such a threat, says Ray. How do we know this isn't the sex robot, says Dan Hirschbein. I wish I'd seen that at the time. That's the sort of thing you should have been looking at and putting in front of my eyes. David, you're a bad producer. Go to your room. Rincewind, says Philip Little 42. I got that reference. After the watershed definitely nips out. This Thursday means the Thursday in the week. How do we get into the green room? This is a good point. For 30 minutes after the show, you can use this link to access the Infinite Sofa virtual green room. If you're allowed in it, and we just can't make the details public because there might be WOM, that's WOM, that's wanking old men. It happened in the test and it's not worth repeating. But if you've ever donated to the show, you will have been invited to join the mailing list for the Infinite Sofa. If you've joined that mailing list, we have emailed everyone the access code and the site. The code is MAMBO, MAMBO, all lowercase, and you will have the link if you're supposed to have the link. The link is hyperlinked, but I think the Twitch email may not have done it yet. We'll get it fixed for Thursday. Apologies, says producer Callum, but he says it using my account on my Twitch, so it looks like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Be nearer the truth. That was an absolutely diamond show. Ladies, and I say so myself, what I mean is everyone in it was good, and I felt like I didn't get in the way too much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close with a gallery view, if you please, Callum. Let's have a completely random improvised Mexican wave from everyone in the sofa tonight. Give us a Mexican wave now. Actually not bad. And did you see that? Alice came on with the video in the bottom corner of my screen and absolutely nailed that. Thank you to the Delightful Sausage, Chancer, Edy Hurst, Alice Fraser, and not to mention Russell Howard, ladies and gentlemen. Can we all, we don't have theme music, but can we imagine there's theme music? We'll play some theme music on top of this, but could you all dance as if there's theme music while we sort of play ourselves out? David, no one gave you permission to play. Everyone will just have a. I'll just do it. I'll do. Have I got news for you? Theme. Right. So dance all in the same. Thank you very much. I really feel I put far more of my back into that than Maggie did. That was the most preemptory. Absolutely outrageous. Feel free, members of the sofa, to stick around, but we're going to end the stream now. Go to infinitesofa.com, join the mailing list. You can find out all of the guests and all of the things that are going to be happening here at the Infinite Sofa. And remember, if you donate at infinitesofa.com, there's a big button that says click here to donate. You can be in with a chance of being on the sofa next week and being bullied and put into a cupboard. Thank you very much. I've been Stuart Goldsmith. Let's say goodbye, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
you.